FULCRUM, a Star Wars podcast. Your way of tapping into the Force from a galaxy far, far away. Hello there.
Hello, what have we here? Here's where the fun begins.
Count me in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to FULCRUM, a Star Wars podcast. And we're a little late, but we had things going on, and this way we get to cover a couple things this week. We've got Andor episodes 4 through 6 of Season 2. Those are titled Ever Been to Gorman, I Have Friends Everywhere, and What a Festive Evening, all written by Beau Willimon, all directed by Ariel Kleiman. And we also have Tales of the Underworld to discuss at the end of this episode. I'm so very excited. I am Colton Robertson. I'm with Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and we've got a fun show, like I said. It's been a little bit. You know, we obviously are a little late to the punch for Andor, but the next set of episodes is tomorrow, which is, you know, this gets to mount my excitement for it a little bit more, which is cool. But how'd you feel about this arc?
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't want to say that I was disappointed with the first 3 episodes, because I wasn't. They were still just really good. But I think this chunk of 3, this arc, it got me differently than the first 3. It felt like a big step up, at least. The stakes, the tension was just so much higher, I felt like, here. And I was just interested in every little sentence here. I mean, I don't know, finding out just every little twist I thought was done so beautifully, and like how all just the different storylines they feel completely separate, but then they just all blend together and come together at points. I think, I don't know, they're doing season 1 things, you know. I think this is they're hyping it up for good reason, because I mean this is, I don't know, getting episodes tomorrow, that is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're halfway done.
Yeah, this and
actually,
and man,
a week and a day from now we will be done.
Oh my God!
Which is like with Andor. Period. This is it. And it is kind of wild. That's why I've been thinking about the 3-episode release structure. I started last week talking about how I wasn't a fan of it, but I will say these are meant to be watched back to back to back. You know, they are supposed to be viewed as a group. And I think that it's paying off big time that they are releasing it this way. Obviously, I do wish that we had more time to spend with it. I had more time to savor it. But they are structured like movies. It makes more sense to watch them all like this than it would be to wait for the next act, you know. And I think that it's working for me, man. I loved these 3. Cassian was a big step up in these 3, which is, you know, he's the titular character. He ought to be, you know. But in the first arc, you know, he wasn't background strictly, but, you know, we got to watch him kind of observe things more than we did watch him take action. You know, we watched him take action at the beginning of the first episode and the end of the 3rd episode. This time, he's doing things the whole time, and it's nice. It's nice to see. But yeah, Cassian took a big step up this week. Bix maintains her status as the best character of the season so far, for my money. I've adored her so far, and her getting her revenge there at the end was fucking beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty brutal week though. I mean, not a lot of good. No. You know, we did have to say goodbye to God damn, and what the fuck, how
Senta.
Easily this, like, you know, like what this stupid, you know, I mean at least the sit down in the were they in like a, I don't know where they were whenever Vel just, I mean, went in and just, I mean, and then poured her heart
transport
out too.
when they were leaving.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was nice to get that, at least. To make
it
her
was
death
cathartic. This is you know, we'll talk about this straight away just because it's a pretty big one, and it's caused a little bit of a stir online because they are giving in to a pretty classic trope, a trope that's been donned. Bury your gays. Which I did find the payoff afterwards with Vel saying that. And the way that they execute it, everything about it is not necessarily poorly done, but I do think that it's a tad beneath them. Andor, that is. Like, as soon as they are together kissing, like, we'll have to deal with that later. It's like, oh, she's dead. I can't believe we're doing this in this show. It's not really something the show has done, where it's like, so easily predictable, they had that interaction and I was like, fuck, Vel or Cinta are going to die. One of them's going to die. And like, that's why it felt beneath them for me, like for them to do such a easy, predictable trope like that. And not only like, cause yes, the bury your gays trope is, I mean, asinine, and it happens far more often than it should. But that was always the writing on the wall for these characters. Like everyone except Cassian and Mon is in danger.
Yeah.
Everyone except those two who we know make it through are likely going to die. So I don't really take issue with the fact that Cinta or Vel could die. It was more the way they did it that I was like, that feels cheap.
That's true. Yeah, they were too, I don't know, they were building it up too much in season 1, and like we didn't fully get the satisfaction that, I don't know, of them.
Yeah, we get the delayed gratification, and then they yank the rug out from underneath you, which is, but that's the thing, is they don't even yank it out from underneath you because of the delayed gratification, you go, oh wait, they're going to die. One of them's going to die, and it's like, that's why I don't take issue with how they did it. I think that was a really strong moment. I think that especially the payoff afterward with Faye Marseille getting to deliver that monologue, this is on you now. This is like skin. Yeah. Like that's hard. Ooh. That's a beautiful line, a beautiful sentiment, like you will carry this with you for the rest of your days. You will be doing this for the rest. You'll be making up for that for the rest of your useless life. I loved it. It was a beautiful moment, beautiful monologue, great performance. And frankly, the moment itself, we are building more themes with the disorganization of the rebellion, and the daunting nature of the Empire, like it would be so easy to go, oh, the Gorman Front is irresponsible. Oh, the Gorman Front is impatient. Oh, the Gorman Front needs to get their shit together. But like the Gorman Front says, it's hard to be patient when your world is crumbling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the person, the entity we still blame is the Empire. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that that's very, very strong. That does need to be the point. And I think that that's, you can still blame the guy, and you should blame the guy. He was irresponsible. He didn't listen to the chain of command. There's no doubt about that. But the reason we're taking this action at all is because of the Empire,
Yeah, I think it was even an ISB agent that said this in about them taking in too many prisoners, about like, are we really taking in prisoners or are we making them? I think maybe
Mon delivers that line.
Okay, there we go. That felt a little bit better. Yeah,
but Lonnie does say in the ISB meeting that they are taking on more than they can process.
Yeah, and I love that. I like that idea is that they're popping up prisons everywhere, and these prisons are being used to manufacture the Death Star, and then now they're taking over a whole planet for just one little material they need for the Death Star, or whatever it happens to be. And it's these, I don't know, the themes they're playing with is just it's the infighting that really is doing the rebellion in right now. Like everyone is they hate the Empire. Everyone has their own reason to hate the Empire. It's just that it's not quite united enough yet.
We're doing a fun spin, and not literally fun, but a fun spin on the quote that Gorst gets to deliver this week, which was everyone has their own rebellion. Everyone has their own inciting event that makes them join the rebellion, but now we're seeing Saw motivate Willman to defect to his side. We had the Maya Pei group last week. We got the Gorman Front all out of disarray. Yep. There's all sorts of shit. Everyone has their own rebellion. And the key is organization. And once they crack that, which we know they do, they topple the Empire.
Yeah, Yeah, it's this cool balance of like, well, we know a lot of these people are probably going to die in the show, but also we know that the rebellion gets really strong. You know, like they do find a way, and we get the, I don't know, all the movies and everything we know. So it's not like kind of the prequels where it's like, oh damn, we're back in the Empire kind of days, and I don't know. It feels like they're going in a really good direction now. We got a new breadth of peace that I'd really like to see, kind of Rey just building the Jedi back up, but it is nice to kind of have that light at the end of the tunnel of like, it will be organized and everything.
Well, and that's what's beautiful is that the fact that we are still able to make such a compelling show out of a conflict that we know the resolution to, that we know how it ends. We know, like, not just for Cassian, like obviously we know what Cassian's story ends like. We know what Saw Gerrera's story ends like. We know Mon Mothma is the Chancellor of the New Republic.
Yeah.
You know, like we know all of these things, and we know the Empire loses, and we are still telling the best story in Star Wars since the first ones. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Yeah. The fact that we're managing that blows my mind. The stakes feel all-time high. You know, like it's insane that they can make something so compelling and so tense. And it is just character work, you know. Like the reason it's so tense is because you don't want anybody else to face the fate that Cassian or Saw is going to face, that Jyn is going to face. You know, like, but you understand that they probably will. That's the context of revolutionary suicide. You know, Saw Gerrera delivers it. You know, we will all be dead. You know, we will not see the sunrise on our republic when it comes back. We are going to die. You are here and you are ready to fight. You know, you are here. You are here and you're ready to fight. Dude. Forrest Whitaker performance of the week. No fucking doubt.
Saw Gerrera is peak. I mean, yeah, he. I just don't know. I haven't read a lot of just the other Saw stuff. I've just really only seen him in what I know.
Oh, dude.
And he's always been badass. And, you know, the anarchist and just the just chaos. But no, this was, oh my god, him like. Just knowing that, like, this is what's fucking him up over time is just Rydonian. The dude is just constantly fucking burning from the inside, and he's mechanically, like, altered himself
we are
to
the
just...
fuel.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's, I don't know. It's so cool, and all these different factions, and knowing, like, a type like Saw that is, I don't know, in... kind of, I don't know, not bad, but manipulating some people onto his side, and it's not like a true rebellion, but he's still fighting for the cause, you know, just in his own way.
No, yeah, like it is a rebellion, but he, you know, he deems himself in the first season the only one with clarity of purpose. You know, so he sees it as his right to manipulate and to convince and to bend the truth as long as it is in the service of taking down the Empire. And it's something he says to Mon in Rebels, you know, you remember, like, as long as you keep fighting this way, you'll never win. You know, like you've got to go a little bit further with it. And I really, really loved the Saw and Willman stuff in the first 2 episodes of this week. I think that was radicalizing Willman further was really, really compelling because it feels like the natural end point for him is with Saw. You know, when you look back, he's the one who built a pipe bomb to take to Marva's funeral. You know, like we didn't plan on that shit popping off. He brought a fucking bomb anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
true.
That's some some shit that you do when you are ready to fucking go. You know, you are here and you are ready to fight. So like that's why I do think it is his natural endpoint to end up with Saw, and I think that's a really, really compelling move. Especially considering everything we've seen, you know, the way that he fought with Luthen, the way that he fought alongside Luthen, the guy who helped protect him ended up dying. You know, Bix and Cassian had to go into hiding. You know, he was bouncing from place to place, you know, hidden away, not being able to fight, really. And now Saw's putting him there. He's like, you're not there with Luthen, you're here with me, you know? Let's fucking do this shit. I think that's, I mean, like, it'd be hard to go, nah, you know? Like,
Yeah. No, this is, I don't know, it lines up perfectly here with like the loss of his dad and like was there I feel like his dad asked him like, "What's the prime something of blah blah blah?" But I feel like that might have been Skeleton Crew of like this random math line that I'm remembering. But like he's having to like remember all these primes and all these combinations and stuff. And I swear there was like a line of his dad.
I think you might
like,
be thinking of Skeleton Crew with the dad and the son.
I think it
but
is. I think
we did see Salmon Pock, his dad, do a lot of mentoring for him in the first few episodes of the show.
Because that's who he's referring, like that's who taught him, right? Like that's why he's not, or like who is he? Is he actually being secretive about like
I think he actually is being secretive about something within the rebellion.
Okay, because I guess I don't know. I guess I couldn't think of anyone who he'd be referring to, so I just thought it was. His
I
father.
don't know that it's someone we would know. I think it's just chain of command stuff. Like he's just he's not allowed to say, so he doesn't say. I do think that there's an obvious carryover from Salmon's engineering inclination. Like that is where the source of his knowledge comes from, but specifically being able to, mine Rhydonium, I don't think Salmon was up to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
true.
that seems a little above his pay grade.
I guess it was like his reaction. It was like every time someone asked him, it wasn't just like, I'm going to keep the secret for the rebellion. It was like, I don't want to, like, it's too painful to even tell you who taught me, sort of thing. So that was the only person who.
No, and it had occurred to me too. I couldn't make sense of it logically. But that's the thing. Maybe it doesn't have to be, because either way, Salmon is the source of his knowledge. Like the well that he dug for him. That's where he gets his entire sense of being. So like,
could it be like Fulcrum? Could it be like Ahsoka or like some of the Rebel crew? Because I mean, like, I wonder how. I don't like. Ahsoka's more of like organize. I don't know, like organizing military stuff. I don't like we have like Luthen and Ahsoka kind of like organizing parts of the rebellion right now. I feel like and maybe
Bail,
that was
which is cool.
I
don't even know if. Like, I know canonically Bail and Mon know about each other because of stuff in books, but I'm curious if, like, because they interact this week, and we did get an interesting recast.
That
was just because of scheduling conflicts. Jimmy Smits wasn't able to make it work, so Benjamin Bratt came on, which is great. I love Benjamin Bratt. I think he did a good job in his little brief minute cameo, but I assume he'll be back around for the next few episodes as well. And I'm very excited for that because I love that character. But I loved that was another side of things that I was excited to kind of dive into was the Senate's, week of celebration. It's the beginning of a new year of, legislation, and it's all pageantry and, pomp and circumstance. And I really adored that idea. It's almost reality TV,
Liberty and justice for once and for all. Or I don't know. They were like saying the Pledge of Allegiance, pretty much just like, but with Empire replaced as
it was pretty spot on.
Yeah, it's getting it's a show. It's Star Wars and it's the Empire big bad guy. But man, wow, yeah, how I don't know.
Well, and when it comes to real world circumstance, when Mon Mothma goes, are we finding more criminals or are we making them?
Yeah.
And when you see that reflected in certain things going on in real life, it's kind of impossible not to make a connection there. Specifically
people
with
respond to their environment. It's like
detainee
it's like
camps and kidnapping people and sending them away to foreign lands. Like that's that's real shit. And the 38% increase in arrests on Gorman and the 21% increase here, the 24% increase there. Like it's man, it sucks. It sucks.
That one senator being like, "Oh, we can all fudge the numbers in our own way, but I just go off what I feel or whatever," and it's like, okay, yeah, it's like Mon's like telling you straight up that like what the hell is going on, like something is obviously up here, and you're like, "Oh, you're just fudging the numbers to benefit your own agenda," and it's like, they're. I don't know, just this disconnectedness, and that like you see the senators and you see all this high life, and just kind of ick. But then the reason I think the show is so good is that you do get the human, just Cassian and Bix just being very very oh my God, the intimacy like that we finally got. Like this is the most intimate Star Wars has ever gotten. And before they even actually like started to actually, when it was just the little hands dance, I don't know what to call that. That's it felt like a hand fucking. I don't know. Is that the most apt?
It was hand
name
stuff.
For it? Yeah, hand stuff. But that was awesome. And then getting like the
I loved it, and it was
opposite
beautiful
of
too.
surreal.
And I wanted to make a correction about something that I said last week. I made an incorrect assumption that Nicholas Britell was still doing the score. It is a different man than the man who did it in season 1. The guy who is doing it now is named Brandon Roberts, and he's knocking it out of the park. I'm really loving it because specifically in that scene, I adored the music. I loved the softness and the playfulness. And then when he gets back from his mission to Gorman, and he's like, "I was very, very pretty," and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that," and stuff. And like they start kissing. There's like this really playful, loving music playing, and I adore it. I adore it. I think it's great. And yeah, like you said, it is more intimate than anything we've really seen in Star Wars. That almost felt deeper than a kiss, and I really, really appreciated it. And I think that I'm curious about what the source of it is, like the drawing something on each other's hands.
Yeah, it felt like a way to realize, like, I don't know, to put you in the moment is kind of
like
what
I'm
it
here
felt
and
like.
you are here.
And yes, and it like, because on one hand they like I don't know, it was kind of, they did different things on different hands, or was it the same motion on both hands?
They did slightly different motions.
Yeah.
I paid attention to that too.
It was like, I am with you. It felt like just a yin yang, kind of both ways.
Well, and
like,
maybe it's a slight parallel to what's going on with we get, as a culmination of things here, we get Saw and Willman. You're here with me, and you're ready to fight. At the end with Luthen and Clea, they're back on the same page. We've got Cassian and Bix walking off into the sunset together, literally. Like, there's kind of the connection is happening. It's happening. It's just not. They're not all connecting. There's these different factions connecting.
And Luthen, he's the common denominator, I think. I think that at least this is what this story and all of these strifes between people, it's like they want to be together. Is it really the rebellion that's causing them not to be in the cause? Or is it kind of Luthen valuing their individual power? Because like multiple people say that, like Cassian is like, oh, we are better separate than together for you. It works
and
better
Cinta
for you.
and Vel talk about it later.
And Mon and and Vel, like they're, I don't know, that like just there's so many connections that are just kind of split apart because of Luthen. And the ultimate one, if you're right about Clea being his sister, like that, it would be the ultimate, like, holy shit. I don't know if Clea is that much about the cause to do it herself, but it would make so much more sense if, like, I don't know, if that's how Luthen knows that Clea is fully in, is that she hasn't even revealed that they're blood, like they are brother and sister sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't have to have that payoff to have that, but I think that they're playing with this dynamic of people are starting to realize that, like, Luthen isn't quite what they're looking for. He's done well and I guess he gets results, but like it just feels a little wrong to like sacrifice so many people with no thought. I feel like is kind of like he was called a droid, I feel like, by someone. Like, we're not droids.
Cassian says we are not droids.
So I feel like he's becoming a little too calculated.
It's also overwhelming him. He needs to branch out. Whenever him and Clea are talking, and he's like, "We've got too many lines in the air. There's too much information floating around. We're getting swamped, and you're acting like everything's under control." And it's like, well, then maybe I think that what we're looking at is that Luthen has to accept he has to change, not necessarily that they are going to abandon the cause that Luthen is creating. Because I think it's clear that Cassian, while he values his relationship with Bix, and he wants to protect her at all costs, clearly, it's clear that he takes after Luthen more than he realizes yet. the whole him being able to turn it on like that, him going to the Gorman front and her talking to him and him being like, you are lucky, you know? You're lucky that I am who you are looking for. I could have just ended your whole life. You know, I could have ended everything for you. Ooh. And you're lucky. You're lucky you were right. And those people you have following me, you know, they're just drawing attention.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love that shit.
Mission Impossible-esque this week, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of good espionage stuff. The passing off of the bag and like the little key phrases or stuff they were saying.
Yeah,
but
I have friends everywhere.
That scene in the restaurant was awesome. She felt she had the upper hand at first, you know, being, I don't know, coming in there all strong, and then Cassian just kind of, I don't know, welcoming her to, you know, teaching her a lesson, but also at the same time, like, I don't know, am I Luthen? You know, I could be him. I could.
Well, and he's getting taught a lesson too. You know, there's the line that Saw delivers whenever he's talking to Willman, and he says, you know, you're thinking that I'm crazy. Yes, I am. Revolution is not for the sane. You know, he handles this situation very sanely.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, it is illogical for you to fight. A lot of people will die. You plan on staying at the scene of the crime. You will martyr yourself, essentially. Yeah. And it's better for you to stay alive to fight than it is to martyr yourself now. Like, that's how he looks at it. Luthen looks at it the opposite way. Whenever Luthen is talking about how Gorman, like, how wonderful would it be to have a world like that on our side? Yeah, I don't think that he plans on... I think that the massacre that's coming is exactly what Luthen thinks will happen. And he's counting on it, in fact.
Isn't there an accelerationist, or like, I feel like there's kind of a word.
That's it.
Like, okay, yeah, I feel like that's like really what, like, Luthen is just, he's wanting the rebellion to start now. Like, what better way to show how shitty the Empire is through Gorman and this one little heist, you know, whatever. I feel like he wants it to this is not his true goal, to have this little reveal of like the material. I think he's got larger things going on.
Yeah, he definitely does. And I think that there's the interesting part to me is whenever he gets on the radio and talks to Clea, and she's like, is it what we're looking for? And he's like, I thought that getting an up close look would make it different, but it's not. You know, and I think that means that whatever they do, he's just got to make the most of it. And I think that does end up meaning they're going to have to martyr Gorman. You know, Gorman will be a symbol of the Empire's atrocities, and it will ultimately sway more worlds to the side of the rebellion because of what happens there.
Yeah, it's a tough, I don't know, this moral you know, these just philosophical kind of ideas here, and it's crazy that this is what we're getting in Star Wars, but it's like, I don't know, the Cassian kind of, you know, he's telling them, no, don't risk your life, it is better for you to stay alive and fight. But then, you know, the soldier that, you know, Bix and him are talking about dying before, and he's like, no, he had to die. Him being dead means that we're alive here right now. So he's kind of playing with both at the same time. That's one soldier's life versus, you know, Gorman. So it's not exactly the same thing, but he is kind of like, well, sacrifice is necessary, you know, at some points, or at least make it worth it if it had to happen. So I feel like Cassian I loved, you're right, he did kind of take back the titular role. I feel like it was more focused on like Luthen and kind of, or just the bigger kind of pieces. Cassian kind of felt like
Luthen and Mon were definitely the focus of the first week, I think. And he did kind of return to form here, and I really, really appreciated it. And I think that I love Luthen throwing them a bone also, and giving them the mission to kill Dr. Gorst, you know? That was very satisfying. I think that it's kind of kind of the first thing for me that shows that he's willing to meet them halfway.
I guess I thought that they just did that completely on their own.
No, they just were remember the light starts flashing and Bix says, whatever this is, I'm going with you.
Oh, okay. Because I guess, and I kind of was like, well, was it Luthen? Like, what did they just ignore Luthen's message? Like, Luthen was like, no, come back, I have something to tell you. And they was like, fuck it, no, we're actually just gonna fucking kill Gorst.
I guess it could have been that, but do. I took Cassian being like, you'll go with me. Like, they don't Like that was a Luthen mission, and it was set up because Lonnie was expressly told the plan for Dr. Gorst.
Oh, true. Yes, and it was like, oh yeah, fuck, we cannot let this become an
Exactly.
institution.
So
Like,
I'm assuming he relays that information to Luthen, and Luthen's like, let's kill this motherfucker. I've got just the people to do it, you know?
I like that even more now. I guess, I don't know. It's kind of crazy that I'm like anti-Luthen right now. Like he's like by far my favorite character, like in season 1, and I just loved, I don't know, this, I don't know, new type of character in Star Wars. But I'm like, well, I'm wanting
it's actually perfect that you're not loving Luthen, you know? Like that's kind of the point of the character, is that you know, he also has clarity of purpose. You know, Saw claims that he's the only one with clarity of purpose. Luthen's willing to do the same shit as Saw, just in a different fucking way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a completely different game, and that's why I think this last moment was a big step forward for Luthen. Yeah. Also, another big step, I think. Sadly, Cinta dies, but Vel says that she would only do it if Cinta was there, and Cinta says she would only do it if Vel was there.
Yeah.
And he sends them both there. You know, he's willing to appease both of them. Like, I think that there's something in him growing to that idea. I don't think he's there. I don't think next week we're going to see him be like, yeah, everybody go off with their partner and have fun. You know, like, no, I don't see that coming. But I think that he is starting to remember the value of connection, especially with him and Clea reconnecting at the end and everything. There is, we went back to this idea in the first season about the Kyber crystal that he has, the Kuwati crystal made from Kyber, and I've long thought that he's not a Jedi, but that maybe he loved someone who was, or maybe he loved someone who was connected to a Jedi, or something. You know, I think that a past relationship has soured his taste for love within a rebellion. You know, like you should be fighting for the greater cause, because fighting for one person will blind you to what's greater. You know, and that's a theme that they play with in the prequel trilogy. You know, it's why Anakin goes dark. You know, because he decides to fight for one person instead of fighting for the galaxy. And I think that that's kind of something Luthen is weary of. I mean, it's something he's definitely weary of, you know, letting one person get in your way of making the ultimate sacrifice, and fighting for something larger.
But I don't know. It kind of works out, though, because imagine if he would have just listened to Bix and Cassian well before. Bix has been struggling with Dr. Gorst for a long time. That dude is pure evil. He should have just gotten rid of... Anyways, they should have just gotten rid of that guy long ago. And, like, it wouldn't have even gotten to the point where they're like, oh, we should make this an institution, you know? So it's like, all the little battles, it's just fighting any amount of dark should be, like, if it's evil, we get rid of it, you know? If it is even affecting you on a smaller scale, that means it must be it's bad still, I feel like. And Luthen's I think he just wants to do the most amount of good while he's alive. And that's, you know, he said it's an equation he wrote 15 years ago, I guess now about, 17, 18, wherever we are. But like, yeah, he's just pure theory, pure most possible good. But I feel like I don't know, in this case, if you just listen to the smaller battles, you listen to everyone's individual struggle, if you help that, it might not be the most efficient way to get rid of the Empire, but I feel like
it'll certainly win people to your side, you know? And I think that there is something to the idea that, I mean, it's not like he doesn't have a point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is... It is wiser and more efficient to not, he's preaching a little bit of Jedi stuff, which doesn't help the theory that he wasn't one, the lack of attachment and all that stuff. Yeah. Like it's, they are emphasizing that this season, particularly. And I think that's, I don't want him to be one. I think that maybe he was a, Lor Santeca type, worshipped it, and then it all fell apart. And that's, it's kind of he's grown weary of it. I don't know. Whatever. regardless, he does have a little bit of that sentiment to him, and I think that I mean, again, while I don't like him as much as I like Bix and Mon and Cassian and all these characters, he is deeply, deeply interesting. And Clea is even more interesting than him. I need her to take a step up in the next few episodes as far as importance.
Yeah, she's the one bringing him down to earth. I don't know, and calming him down. He's like, "Are you done?" She's like, all right, we gotta lock in, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. I get it, you're mad, but we have to get this done or else we're fucked." And like, I love how it's something as simple as that. It's like one microphone planted just so they can get information, but it ties back to them and their whole operation is foiled. And it's like, it's just one microphone and they just have to get it out at a party. It's like, and that's it. But it's like, it's like, this might as well be the Death Star blowing up at the end of the movie, you know? And it's oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps even just thinking of her blood, like literally coming out of her
trickling
hand.
Down her
like,
hand, yeah.
Oh, is that, I hope it doesn't come back to bite them. And they like, there is a drop on the floor and then they're like, I don't know. Like, they're like, oh fuck, why the fuck is there blood on the floor? I don't know. And
I don't think it'll come back around. I think that knowing we get year-long gaps kind of prevents things like that.
That would not make a whole lot of sense. They know it's them and they wait a whole year to capitalize on it.
That's why I'm like, and also starting next arc by going, yep, Clea's gone, got arrested. You know, like, I don't know. I don't see that coming either. Yeah. So like, that's why I do think that, I think she's you know, careful enough to have prevented something like that happening. But I love the end of episode 6. Oh. That was as tense and as riveting as anything the show has done prior. The intercutting of the heist on Gorman with you know, the heist, if you will, on Coruscant. It was beautiful, and I loved Krennic and Mon Mothma having their little, you know, spat. It was really, really compelling, and again, Clea. I need her to be kind of a focal point of one of these next two arcs. I would love to see her kind of step up and do the fighting. You know, like it's not like she's not fighting. You know, she's doing it in her way for Luthen, but I need her to be on a mission at some point. I want to see that. And it's not make or break or anything. I'm not gonna be like, well, the show's shit, she never did that. No, like it's fine. Her little, but I would love to see that
radio like in spy thing. I don't like the little terminal she has. I feel like we saw it in season 1, but I don't know. It's really being shown how it's used here. And she's just like, so like, is that the whole, like, she's just listening in all the time, like any break she can get, she's just back here just listening into every frequency, you know? I don't know, she's like, and it makes sense, like Luthen says like we're taking in too much, but like she is, I don't know, she's having to tune all those frequencies here, I don't know, send out like she's like just, I feel like doing more actual work than Luthen. Luthen's more just calling the shots, and then like Clea's like doing the grunt work or like the actual, I don't know, stuff that takes a while. So I feel like
and I think that's something that they've, you know, you mentioned Luthen kind of organizing it, and you know, what do I sacrifice? Everything. That whole monologue is kind of everything you need to know about his character. But one thing that I love them playing with this season and last, even, you know, whenever the Eye was complete and we lost Nemec and we lost what was his name? Gore and the former stormtrooper. I can't remember their names all off the top of my head. Gorn and something else. I can't remember what the other guy's name was. But whenever we lose all of them, it's somber, but the mission's complete. It's good. Luthen's celebrating. They're mourning. Cassian has to shoot Skeen. You know, that whole thing. There's that juxtaposition of wonder and mourning. And at the end of the episode 3, you know, we got Brasso dead, but Mon's dancing her ass off elsewhere. At the end of this one, Cinta's dead, Vela's mourning, but Bix and Cassian get their revenge. At the end of One Way Out, we're making it out, but he can't swim. You know, like that's...
No, yes, it's one... I don't know, one person's death. It's like it sucks that it happened, and like it's not... Everyone is for the cause. Like everyone is going against the Empire. It's just... It happens, you know. It's part of it, but I love that, like Cassian's viewpoint on it, you know, or like I feel like just that it did happen. We have to make it worth it, or like it happened. We are here because it happened, sort of thing. And just to keep pushing forward, even though it sucks, because it is just a little disorganized. That is really it. If they all just could sit down and talk for like, I don't know, there's no breaks. The Empire's pressuring them
and that's
much,
the other thing too, is it's too dangerous too. That's something they are emphasizing, is that like the reason organization isn't working out for them is because it's practically impossible at this point.
Yeah, that's like, it's too, I don't know, it's a little too real there as well. It's like, yeah, it's crazy to think that just talking about these ideas in the real world is actually a little bit dangerous now. But like, I don't know, it has caused some college students to have their tuition or their grants dropped completely. And it's like, I don't know, does one tweet, me saying the wrong thing, get my, part of my government money away from me? It's kind of insane to think that it's maybe a possibility, but I at least love here where it's like at the extreme heights of what it can be, and showing just the life that Bix is going through, and I wonder if what she's taking, is it like, so I don't know, Rhydonium's just kind of that color, the blue, but this feels like a completely different
it's definitely a different drug,
or a different,
but you are right to make a connection between the two just thematically, like
just the habits.
They do drugs. I love that they do drugs for completely different reasons. Bix does it to forget. Saw does it to remember. Bix is taking that shit so she can go to sleep at night. She doesn't have to think about what her horrors are. But the moment she gets clean, she's able to fight. And she does it, and that's what helps her move forward. Saw, it's like, fuck that. I need this shit to remind myself why I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he said it's not meant for the saint. He's
no.
He admitted, he's like, yeah, I know, I got a few screws loose, dude. He's like, and that's the point. He's like, oh, that's why I'm here. I don't know, these monologues that we're getting are just these. I already love these characters. Like Saw was, I don't know, I've seen him mostly, I guess, in just animation or Rogue One. I mean, I love him in Rogue One, but like, this is just by far the most I've ever loved him. And it's because of this, I don't know, I would never have loved a character like Luthen. I would have never loved Saw this much as I do now, or Avel and Cinta. I mean, it's just every single person in the show has such a deep like story behind them that you care for everyone. I mean, even Cyril and Deidre, who you don't really care for, it's like, well, I don't mind actually getting this part of the show to show how I actually disconnect. Yeah,
this was the most interesting Cyril has ever been. And not for any reason where I'm like, oh, I think I actually like him. No, I don't. He's a fucking prick. I hate him. But there is something. They play on exactly what we talked about last week whenever we were thinking about, like, oh, if someone was to defect, who would it be? And I was like, well, it would be Cyril. They actually legitimately go, yeah, it would be. If anybody would, it would be him. But he's too loyal. I love that the Gorman Front looks at his track record and it goes, how could this guy be loyal to the Empire? How there's no possible chance this guy's loyal to the Empire. Look at what they've done to him. That is kind of a perfect encapsulation of a certain audience in the real world. How could you love this guy? Look what he's done to you. Look at how he views you. Look at what he thinks of you. And still you're steadfast in your devotion. And I think that Cyril, there is some real to what he's saying. Whenever he does talk to his mom and he's like, actually, a lot of the Gormans are really normal people, you're watching too much Fox News,
Yeah, he's getting the real world a little bit. Him being on this, hearing these protests and like actually just being talked to by the people who are living real lives on the planet. Yeah, he's like, oh shit, maybe like, oh fuck. He's like, I don't know. He's just his horizons have expanded beyond the Empire. He's only had.
And I have no doubt
jobs.
that he really views them as like, he is one of the people who goes, they're not all bad. But the ones that are bad, we got to root them out, And I think that's his devotion to Deidre is obvious. Their relationship is fucking bizarre.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean,
turn out to the lights. When he gets back and they just kind of kiss on the cheek and stuff, it's awkward as fuck.
That's it. Yep. And then they just stand in the middle of the room, just like in the open, I don't know, talking. And then, it's like, the relationship is so fucked, but it's like perfect that it is like that dysfunctional. But they think it's like good. I don't know. Do they think that they have like a ideal relationship? Is this like, I don't know. I'm curious on what's going on in their heads.
I'm more curious what's going on in Deidre's head.
I guess Cyril, he's satisfied. I think that dude, I don't know.
Well, Cyril is satisfied that he even has the opportunity. He's dissatisfied with the capacity at which their relationship is operating.
That's true.
Whenever she's like, we get an hour, and he's like, an hour?
That's
like, what the fuck, man? And we did get an expansion on him wanting more. Whenever he talks to Partagaz directly and kind of goes over Deidre's head a little bit, starts suggesting things and all that stuff. Like that's him, testing the waters a little bit.
Yep. And I don't know, Deidre, I guess the theme with them I feel like that I really like is that Deidre was born and like raised by the Empire legitimately. At least Cyril has, his mom's kind of a piece of shit, but at least she's not like he wasn't raised totally in the Empire, so it makes, he's a little easier to turn once he sees the real, life of Gorman and everything. And I feel like, hopefully, I hope that's where his story is leading, that he will eventually be like, I could have this really, really nice job in the ISB, and like, I am made for this thing, but like, man, my life, like, this is all I've known. I kind of want him to have that moment of realization, because I don't think Deidre could ever get there. I think like she's
Deidre's gone.
She's like that's all she's ever known, and like she would have to go through what Cyril is going through. I feel like to
and
truly
the only thing that I think is even close to a possibility for Cyril. One of the most interesting bits of information from this arc is that what we know in Legends as the Gorman Massacre has already happened. In this world. But now in canon, it's the Tarkin Massacre, which means that whatever's cooking is at least as big, if not bigger, than that.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is not good. So the thing that I could see as a possibility is Cyril's growing empathy for the Gormans at large, and his idealism, like if we could just eliminate the bad guys and that's it, that's great. Like there are good people here, that's it, But what the Empire is going to do is wipe them the fuck out.
Yeah. Yep.
And maybe if it is his fault, because it will be, he's the informant. He is giving them information. He is the one who is going to be able to cause the most problems. Maybe then Cyril can kind of see the errors of the Empire. And even then, I don't know if his devotion to Deidre ends up getting in the way. If their relationship keeps going down the path it is going, I think I actually could see him kind of going, well, this isn't even worth it. Because the thing that strikes me about Cyril is that what he wants is purpose. It's I don't even think he loves the Empire because it's the Empire. I think he loves the Empire because it's an idea. They can make use of me. I can do something for you. I can provide a service. I don't really. I'm not trying to say that he's not a fascist boy toy, because he is. He's a fucking loser, and I don't like him. But I could see them playing with that character in an interesting way going forward.
Yeah, I feel maybe like the ultimate thing I see for him is like if he sacrifices himself for Cassian, showing like Deidre that like Deidre wants Cassian dead more than Cyril now at this point. Like Cyril's kind of over Cassian completely, and like but Deidre's like, I don't care how it's done, I just want it done. Like she still has this, I don't know, ultimate grudge over him. And I feel like if she sees Cyril sacrifice himself for Cassian, maybe that'll be a nice bow on Cyril's story, that he does have like a sacrifice play, and it is like, him showing that like, damn, my life, I've kind of like this, maybe that's his purpose, he's like, oh, there is purpose in this. And I don't know if he could come to that realization, but that would be, I guess, my like top tier end for him. But I don't think I don't think it sways Deidre at all, which would be kind
I don't
of
think
the
it would
point
either.
of that.
I think she would look at Cyril like he's a fucking idiot if he did that. Because she already does. She already looks at him like he's a fucking idiot. So, like, if he ever defected, it would only reaffirm her distaste for him. Because that's what makes their relationship so weird, is that I don't think she likes him.
Yeah. No, yeah, no. She sees him as like like now useful. It's like, oh, I can plant you.
Like whenever he's like, they're following. I expect I'm being followed all the time. Yeah. It has to be them. And she's just kind of silent. He's like, who else could it be? It's her.
Yeah.
Like it's her. She's got people following him.
But not, the guy doing maintenance, looking through his window, or whatever, just doing all this stuff. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I wonder if, because Cyril seems to, I guess. He feels like he knows everything that's going on because, he's on the inside a little bit. He knows what's going on more than the Gorman people. But, like, I don't know. I feel like he hasn't put that together, that, like, he did have that hesitation at the end of the call. He's like, oh, you're not going to inform Partagaz? Or, like, oh, that you interesting. That it's like, I feel like he had that. Maybe he's like, oh, shit. Like, maybe Deidre is actually kind of playing me a little bit. But I don't know. Maybe he still is just in full...
I think it makes him feel like the stuff he's doing, again, he wants purpose, and even more than that, he wants to feel important. And her not being willing to tell Partagaz this thing that he feels is very big is kind of like, it's her making him feel small, and so I think ultimately it might end up playing out a little bit more like a Hux type of thing. Where it's like, I don't want you guys to win, but they've made me feel so fucking small for so long that I'm gonna do something about it. And even then,
I
like,
am the spy, just like Hux. I can see that
type
actually
shit.
happening.
I don't. That's why, like, I don't really know what the future holds for Cyril. I don't necessarily want them to do that. I just could see it. Deidre's permanently fucked. There's no coming back from where she's at.
I feel like she's looking a little worse. Like her hair is getting a little more disheveled. Like I feel like she's like, it is taking a toll on her, like this Gorman thing, but like still she's accepting it. It's not like that it's taking a toll on like her morals. I think it's just more of like anyone that has to go through this, it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of tough to be on this secret council that wants a whole planet to fucking plunder. Pretty much. And then getting, I don't know, Krennic, back, that was, I guess he's looking fine. The dude's chill with that. The dude's just, I don't know. He's been in the
He's got that JD Vance eyeliner going on.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why, but like he looked so done up that I thought it was AI for a second. I'm like, wait, am I seeing AI right now? I'm like, is this actually who's what's the actor that plays Krennic?
Ben Mendelsohn.
Mendelsohn.
G'day, mate. You haven't been talking to the cops now, have you, mate?
There it is. Yeah. He, but I don't know. He looked so good that I'm like, yo.
We got to find a way to villainize the Gormans so we can, destroy their planet now, don't we, mate?
God damn. What are they cooking? I don't want, like, I feel like Luthen is going to get his wish. And, like, because, I don't know. There's going to have to be a lot more people that go on the rebellion side. And I feel like, yeah, this is a very rich and meaningful enough planet, sadly enough to say that people
we know from Rebels that what happens here is what makes Mon come out in the open.
Oh shit. Yeah, it's like
she goes over. After the Gorman massacre, I could not stand by the Empire. So whatever's about to happen is fucking awful. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm assuming that's this week.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, they just need whatever's in the core, They don't need whatever's on the surface, which is where all the spiders are. And what's more flammable than like spiders and all their webs and shit? I feel like they're literally just torching the whole planet. Like it's just done, and that they have no silk export. The whole town has nothing anymore because that's all they had was the thread, and it's just like the whole planet will just starve, and it's like without their main export sort of thing. And then they're like, oh well, we're good. Actually, we'll give you a job by going to mine the core. Go to the core and just go. Or not even that. It's just like, actually we'll force you into the prison that we're building around the core sort of thing. But yeah, I feel it's going to be big enough to where I feel like it does destabilize the entire planet. Like, this isn't going to be just the town or like the main city. I think this is like they're taking out their main export sort of thing. Because one guy mentioned like, oh, it like tampering with the atmosphere or something like that. It would be like they've already thought about it, I guess, but it was too much. But maybe, I don't know, maybe they do capitalize on it enough here. But yeah, I guess that's the whole point of the Shadow Council right now, though, is kind of to not make it so obvious. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe it would take something to get, to push them to this point. But maybe that's what Luthen does. I don't know. Maybe Luthen and Saw, or I don't know, they just push as hard as possible to actually make this happen. And that's, Mon is like, I don't know, maybe that's why she stands up. She's like, well, I can't necessarily agree with you, Luthen and Saw, of like how many people just died, but I guess look at how many people, she will see, I guess, what it will do for the cause, and it'll be interesting to see how she takes that if it does go down that way. But yeah, Gorman is it's going to be rough. I thought it was going to be this arc, I guess. I thought it was going to be this
I thought
week.
So too. I thought we were building to it this week. And the fact that we're not is even more compelling, I think. That the slow, because we got the seed drop last week of them being like, we're going to do a planetary smear campaign. Like, let's do that. This week we get the payoff of that. Cyril's mom is like, oh, those Gormans, they always turn their nose up at us and all that stuff, Like, the propaganda's working. And we get Lonnie and Luthen talking about it and then being like, she wouldn't be overseeing it if it was just a smear campaign. Like, there's got to be more here. We got to figure out what it is. What's the end game? Next week, I fear, is the end game.
Yeah. Yep, it's not going to be good. And I feel like Luthen, once he finds out, like, they know. I just don't know how he could really accelerate it more. Is what I'm trying to like think, because I feel like that's what he'll want to do. Is everyone else? I guess yeah. I don't know how it's accelerated to the point of like planet-wide destruction, sort of thing. Does Luthen actually destroy the planet and make it look like the Empire, sort of thing?
No, I think that what we're looking at, you're questioning how can he even accelerate it. I think we're looking at a place where his beliefs might have to shift a little bit. Like, since he can't accelerate it, he has to change methodology. He has to do something different.
Because is he just like them? Is he just as bad if he destroys a plane? It's
yeah,
like
100%, 100%.
The right
and he wouldn't.
Guess,
yeah. That's why I'm like, I think that there is. I don't know that we're going to see planetary destruction strictly because the Death Star is what gives them that capability, and they need something on this planet to build the Death Star. The mining that they talk about doing, it's a long-term destruction of the planet. So, like, I think we see a massacre in the brutal, kind of hard-to-watch real-world sense.
Yeah. Just kind of going through the town at the center with the protests.
Yes, with the massacre
it's like a really
monument.
Big protest. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be willing to bet they knock that monument over onto people. Type shit, like stuff like that. And I'm not saying that would be the entire massacre. No, that's probably a part of it though.
Yeah, I mean, Mandalore. I'm not thinking it's like Mandalore type like that. That is kind of like crazy, but like I don't know. I could see them just dropping bombs over the main city, or just
I could see that too. I could see that too.
Yeah, but I feel. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm like too negative on Luthen right now. I think like he's going I don't know, down more the wrong path rather than like actually realizing. But you saying like, no, that was a Luthen mission, that like, you know, that he gave them Gorse, that like, that makes me feel a whole lot better for him, that he might actually like be realizing like, oh no, I do have to change a little bit. Like he's still on the right side of the fight, but just not quite doing it in the most hopeful or light way. But it's like, it is interesting that like he still has a valid perspective. It's like it's just depending on how you look at it. Do you favor just the individual battle or the greater one at large? And it's, I don't know, you know, I have no idea of which one matters more, you know, but it would feel nice if like everyone just fights their own individual battles and it helps the greater one at large.
That's the thing, is that one isn't more important than the other, and I think that's kind of the point of Star Wars, is that they are, you know, there's no sense in trading lives if you can avoid it, you know, like yes, sacrifices will have to be made, but we're not going to willingly do that, you know, like it's a last resort. It's a thing that it's unavoidable if we have to do that. And I think that that's something that eventually becomes the point. And again, I'll come back to the Rose Tico line, you know, it's not about fighting what we hate, it's saving what we love. And it's actually Luthen's fighting what he hates and Cassian wants to save what he loves, you know. And I think that that's kind of I don't believe that one, I don't think that one is necessarily different than the other, but I think that there's a blend of the two that ends up being the sweet spot. You know, you have to save what you love by fighting what you hate. You know, there's no way around it.
And it's like we know that they have to organize more, and it's like what they need right now. But also at the same time, it's like each rebellion is so individual that like no one else could understand your rebellion more than you or the people that you love or that you're immediately attached to. They get the, you know, the common thread is like, it's the Empire that did it to us, but they don't know the impact, you know, that it caused you. They'll never be able to feel that emotion sort of thing. So it's like everyone feels that like it might just be this competition of like, no, my suffering from the Empire is greater than yours, so my fight's more important. But it should just be, no, like the Empire has caused all of us suffering, and like it's not the competition sort of thing. It's just the fact that we're all getting just confined, and you know, the living environment is terrible that we have, while all of this, you know, everyone else and the people who are in the Empire are living lavish on Coruscant, whatever, eating feasts and going from, you know, their worries are, how can we fit all of these dinners into one day? Like, holy shit, you know, it's like Perrin, I don't know, it's more on Mon's side, but I think that it's showing just kind of like how different their lives are. Like it is, you know, people are worrying about next meals, but if you're in the Empire and you're fully in on the you know, their cause, then it does, you know, benefit you, and you do get lots and lots of money and whatever. But I don't know, at the same time, even Cyril's level or being in the Bureau of Standards, I guess it's not all lavish being in the Empire, you know, there still are the cogs that make it work. But I think it is interesting to show the who's the banker, the guy who's inspecting all the pieces, the
Skulldune.
Yes, yeah, like I feel like showing just these parties and how crazy the wedding ceremonies and all of these things are. It's like all of these traditions that like we must hold true, you know, because they're just it's just showing like they have their purpose and they're beautiful, and you know, it like all of these places look amazing, but like, man, I'd prefer to have the super rainy, dark apartment that Bix and Cassian are living in. It felt so much more homey. Like when she cleaned it up and it was like had the flowers and stuff. Like, no, that felt more homey than even Mon's house, you know, that she lives
in,
sort of thing. So
no, I'm with you, and I think that's one of the things that they are really succeeding at, is depicting everyday existence a little bit. You know, like they go to a bodega in this week. Yeah, you know. Like they go to a grocery store.
Yeah, get him that fucking pepper. He needs, like, he wants a taste of it or something like that. That was so good. She got some mellorunes,
it was
right?
So good, you know?
I feel like, yeah, they got some mellorunes and fucking toasted them up on the grill, I think.
Yeah, I loved it. I love that idea. And I love that, you know, we don't... Usually when a character tells someone, I love you, it's in a dire circumstance in Star Wars. It was so nice to hear Bix just tell Cassian, I love you. You know? Like,
oh man, yeah, and their actual embrace, whenever they get back together, they, Cyril and Deidre have that little peck, and then it's just like, oh my god, I'm fucking seeing you again, just come here, and it's the most, like, it was just so intimate that I'm just tearing up and crying about it. Like, I don't know, it was, I don't know how many times I cried this week, watching the episodes. It just felt so
beautiful,
good,
man,
and the music too. I don't know. Now that you,
music really
it.
helps.
Yeah,
Brandon Roberts is knocking that shit out of the park. Really nailing it. But a few other things. One of my favorite details is that Saw's base this week is on Dakar, which is pretty heavily featured in The Force Awakens. It's where Finn and Poe embrace. It's where they do the whole, the meeting about Starkiller Base and everything. It's where they're fleeing from at the beginning of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it's cool to see the early days of it, before it's fully,
take what you can, we'll burn the rest.
Yeah.
It's similar to what they do with Crate later on, like it was a former rebellion hideout. Like, I love that stuff. I love the idea that we are, and the way that this creates connective tissue with the rest of the franchise is just so effortless and natural. It's crazy. I love it, especially considering Tony Gilroy isn't a Star Wars guy. Like, he's not a guy who's trying his best to find a way to connect things. Things are just connecting.
Wow. Yeah, and I wonder, like, I still don't want to expect any crazy, people to come in, but like the Rebels crew, like, I don't know, it'd be nice just to see any amount or just a mention of them in something, or Ahsoka or Fulcrum, just I don't know, something along those lines.
I think it would be cool if Clea hears the Fulcrum frequency.
Ooh, yes. I need that.
That's one of the only ways that I could see the Fulcrum frequency, like the Fulcrum stuff coming into play, is literally because we have someone whose job is to listen to frequencies. When it comes to, like, Gilroy actually did expressly say that Vader and Palpatine are not in this.
Okay, that's interesting.
And he said that he doesn't like writing Darth Vader. He's done it before, and he doesn't have much to say. And then Palpatine's just a little bit too big of a fish to fry. Like, he's better as a boogeyman, sort of.
Okay, I kind of like that. Explicitly being like, no, don't even expect them. Fuck it. Like, yeah, it's just, it is kind of better just to have the threat of them rather than, needing them to pop up in the show. Or,
no, and that's what kind of makes Darth Vader popping up in Rogue One good, is that things got out of hand.
Yeah.
And now he has to show up, like, it's like, oh, fuck, I'm the last line of defense more than just being like, I'm the enforcer, I'm around, I think it works better that way. And I do think that, when it comes to, like, Palpatine, I don't really need him in this. Like, we know.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could show us about him that we don't already understand. And I think that makes this smaller and more intimate, and I think that's good. I do think that there's a chance we see some familiar faces. I don't expect that we won't. But I do think they'll be more Rogue One based than they will be Rebels based. I like I said last week, I think that there's a chance we see Galen Erso, Bodhi Rook. I think there's a chance we will see Melshi again. I'm very confident in that.
K2SO.
There were rumors that Andy Serkis might be returning as Kino Loy eventually.
Whoa! Did he?
Those were rumors forever ago. Those aren't recent. It's been a while since I heard that.
But how? But in what? Oh, I don't know. How does he get out of there? Like, how does? Because then it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I hope he's alive. That would be awesome. And if he did get out, that'd be incredible. I've just operated that, like, I don't know. It just probably didn't work out for that guy.
No, I took it as he's dead, So, like, I'm not expecting to see him, but that was a rumor a long time ago that he'd be returning for season 2. Man. And, I don't know if that was ever confirmed or denied. I'm not really expecting it. But, like, that's why I'm like, I don't think that it's completely asinine to be like, we'll probably see some familiar faces, because it's that time. We are getting closer to Rogue One. We are getting to the heart of the rebellion. Things are heating up. It's about that time. It would make sense for things to kind of start to interact a little bit more. Like when we go to Yavin, which we will. Like, I expect that we might even be at Yavin next week. We will definitely be at Yavin in the last week.
Oh, yeah, all those other projects that they said that they were working on in Rogue One. Do you think they toy around with it? Like all of those other hard drives that are in there, all those
Yeah,
other
there could
secret
be
projects they're
something
working
there,
on, Stardust, and I guess they like I don't know, that's eventually what they find. But there was the kind of something needle or I don't something where it was like just the weapon of the Death Star alone, sort of thing, or Operation Sender, was that one of them? I feel like that might have been. I don't know, or something about Crimson. I don't know. Was Crimson Dawn in there? I don't know. So I don't know. I need to. I feel like I don't want to watch Rogue One until after.
I'm not watching
Andor
Rogue
finishes.
One until after this is over. But
I'm gonna wait.
I could absolutely see this operation on Gorman getting a name that was in Rogue One.
Okay, that's true. That'd
like
be cool.
Retroactively making it so like say it was Operation Cinder. I don't know if that was it, but like they name it Operation Cinder in this, and all of a sudden that gets a new meaning in Rogue One.
Ooh, man. Yeah, it's gonna, man. Yeah, how Melshi's gonna come? That'll be interesting to see him come back into the fold. I hope it's
because he's a fucking rebel. He's a rebel in Rogue One, and we haven't seen him at all. It doesn't seem like him and Cassian have connected since they parted ways.
I wonder if it's just naturally through the fight. Like, they just happen to be on, like, the same mission together. And it's like, no fucking way. It's like,
right.
And it's beautiful that it's just, like, for the rebellion. I don't know. Like, they split, like, having to spread word about the rebellion. And then they come back. And it's like, they're together because of the rebellion. It would be, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think of Melshi. Like, duh, he has to come back. And, like, getting, I don't know, B. Where's B right now? Where's he chilling? Where's, I don't. Like he
got left behind.
Yeah. So like, is he just on the farm planet still?
I think so. I think he's just kicking it with Brasso's bride to be.
Man, yeah. I don't know. They got to go back and get him, right? They're not just going to leave him there.
Well, at least I'm assuming we see B one more time at least. We
got to. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't even think of I don't know. He was just. I can't believe he's just still there. Yeah, he's more than a droid. I don't know. He's he's
family for Cassian. It makes it makes sense. But new concern. Not new concern, but I've previously been comfortable assuming that Bix might make it out. I am now officially in the camp that she is certainly dead.
Yeah. I was on the train a little bit of being like, oh my god, she makes it out, and it makes Cassian's death like so beautiful because he, his death is, fulfilling, or keeping her alive, but it's like, I'm
going back to Cassian's characterization at the beginning of Rogue One, and him being so hardened and unemotional and all that. Yeah, no, I gotta think that that's because Bix either leaves, hopefully, don't think that's happening, or dies, and that's more likely.
I guess it is a possibility that she just leaves and then values the Empire, or the Empire values the fight more than the relationship as well, and that's what toils him. But I feel like it's much more likely the death of her is what gets him to act the way he does. Because I would like to say like, no, they're taking him a new route, and this is the new Cassian, and the Rogue One will just be it'll just feel a little different. But I don't think they market so heavily that it's like, no, we're leading right into the fucking movie. Like
his characterization will be consistent.
So, yeesh. Yeah, Bix, at least,
and it already kind of is, which is why I'm interested in it. Like the fact that he did kill a guy because he saw Bix's face.
Yeah.
That's something he's willing to do in Rogue One. He's already hardened. He's just still got this softness for Bix, and that's gone.
Is it an act? Is he putting on an act and is it he can't even acknowledge that she's alive? He can't even, it's kind of like Ethan Hunt in his Julia. Julia just seeing her, whatever, and he's happy. Knowing that she's living, I don't know, whatever. But like, I wonder, no, Bix would be in the fight too. It's not like she's just kind of living, going off, but I don't know. I guess I would love, I would just love if she's on Pabu and we see I don't know. Like it's just where anyone you want to live in Star Wars ends up. It's like
That'd be great.
just paradise. I don't know. We see Pabu live action.
We see Tamara Morrison back. Yeah.
Oh man, I would love that. That's my ultimate dream. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
She's probably going. So, and yeah, I guess it. I hope it's not like a Senta. Just it plays well to like this is just what happens in the rebellion, but like man, I wanted Senta to go out a little bit better than that. Like you're right. But Bix, I think I don't know if she's dying, it will like this is the one they have to do well. It's the straight.
Yeah, they'll do it up. Like,
Yeah, so,
and she even gets a line this week when she's like, if this is a war, like you keep saying, and it is, I know you're right. You can't save me.
Yeah. She kind of did herself. She kind of literally just foreshadowed her own death. And it's kind of over. And maybe that's just what they want you to believe. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. They're writing this beautifully, but I think like it's just kind of I don't know. We know a lot of these people don't make it out, and they know that too. And it's just they're doing it in such a beautiful way that like I can actually.
And maybe they subvert it by Cassian being like, "I can save you." Actually, I know I can. Like maybe that's how they are leading us down that path where it's like, oh, that's it. But. I don't know. I think that there's just a lot of different routes we can go. And I'm loving every second of it right now. I cannot wait for tomorrow night. Man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is nice that I don't have to wait that long at all. Kind of a little blessing in disguise getting it a little late for me this time. But yeah, it's a big step up from last week, that's for sure. I don't know which step. I don't know. The first three were good, were great even, but these were cooking on a different level. And I don't know, the music being a different guy, that is kind of crazy. It does feel so similar to season one, but now that you say it, it does have its own kind of grandiosity to it. I don't know. It does. I don't know. I like. So yeah, everything's kind of firing. On all cylinders here, for me. So yeah, I'm and if it follows the season one pattern of just every arc somehow gets better than the last one, I kind of like the Narkina 5 arc the most out of season one actually. So maybe we get the best arc here. Maybe this is just kind of the GOAT arc coming up this week. But
yeah,
no,
I think it's setting itself up to be. I think that this is going to be the culmination of the previous two arcs, and I think the last arc is more than anything a perfect prequel to Rogue One.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what I'm anticipating. So I do anticipate that this coming one is going to be the biggest anyway, like the jaw-dropping, holy shit, can't believe we went there sort of thing.
Gorman. I'm sorry, whatever's coming your way, but
it's over. It's over.
Something's coming, yeah, and so yeah, that's gonna be rough to watch. But at least I'll know it makes people join the rebellion so much easier.
I guess so.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
I mean, like another thing, whenever Luke. When he's in the Empire, like he meets someone in the rebellion, he goes, "You're in the rebellion?" Like the rebellion, there comes a point when the rebellion's not a secret. And that's got to happen soon, like that can't be far out.
Yeah, you're right. It's got to kind of happen. Mon's got to come out. It's just, I don't know. This is it. It feels like, this is the moment. And I feel like it would be so much better to have the last three be this, kind of just the connective tissue of like, all right, we'll give you some, we put you through hell for this arc, seeing whatever's going to happen on Gorman. We'll give you just some slow down a little bit, and then just the perfect lead into the movie. But I mean, because the last arc of season one, like I feel like it was more I feel like I favor Narkina 5 just because of, I don't know, it's those 3 episodes just are so perfect in themselves. But the
way out. I mean, it's different. It here's the thing. I never believed season 2 would be able to touch season 1. And they do have to do some fucking heavy lifting to do so.
I see a world. I don't know. I kind of see a world where they do it. I don't know. I like it is more slim. Definitely more slim than I don't know. But I'm feeling good this season.
I mean, yeah, this arc particularly got us going. I think we're heading in the right direction. You know. But they gotta stick the fucking landing to do it. You know, like it's got and and I'm not trying to say that it's bad by no. I'm talking about what is, in my opinion, one of the greatest seasons of television ever made. So, it's a high bar for any standard.
Yeah, Marva. I don't know. I can't. We got to get the brick. We got to get Brasso's brick as well. Goddamn. Eventually, I hope. We gotta. I don't know. I hope we like return to Ferrix and see Marva's brick. Maybe Brasso goes right next to Marva. You know, just that'd be cool. Just that'd right next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I would love a world where we get an epilogue post episode 6 that is Bix returning to Ferrix.
The women of Ferrix,
the daughters of Ferrix.
Daughters. Okay. I hope she maybe she's if she does make it out, that'd be a really cool end for her. And hearing that kind of continues on.
That would be cool. That would be cool. That's why I'm like, I don't really know what. Regardless, I want an epilogue. And what I really want is someone alive at the end to remember Cassian.
Yeah.
And that does leave Bix to be the most likely candidate, you know? But I also expect that Mon Mothma and Cassian are going to meet each other here soon. And we know Mon makes it out. We know Mon lives. And if Mon is the one who carries the memory of Luthen and Cassian and all these people, then I guess I can be okay with that too.
Yeah, I could see... Clea. I don't know, maybe. If that reveal is still coming. That could be a cool...
that's a really good point. Clea almost certainly feels like a safe person. I don't really see her dying. Now, I won't be surprised if she does by any stretch, but
she feels like the easiest one to bank in, you know. It's maybe she just... I don't know. I don't know who she could become, or if she's just at a battle, or she, at a command station or something.
She would kind of be the perfect archivist.
Yeah.
To chronicle the rebellion.
Whoa, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be kind of sick.
With her obsession with history, which is, I mean, I can't. I know it's part of the deal, but I can't imagine that's entirely fabricated. She has to take an interest in it.
Okay, yeah, just like on Yavin, how they have all the shitty hard drives of the worst possible weapons and how to destroy and all of these terrible things. No, they have beautiful, Clea has this all the little fights, everyone's rebellion is stored somehow.
If it's not stored, she's able to tell the story, which I think is kind of invaluable, especially in the recruiting process once the rebellion reveals itself, and after the rebellion ends and they've won, telling the story of how they won, that's important, so I think that there's a chance that if there's somebody on this side that makes it out, it's Clea. And to further emphasize some maybe great stuff, Luthen might die for her. That'd be cool.
Yeah I hope so. Their relationship was interesting. They're obviously not husband wife, but whatsoever. But their argument kind of felt
it almost feels more father daughter.
Yeah, but and then I don't know. It just felt like Cleo was the one actually taking actually that had the control over the conversation. So yeah, it was this back and forth, and Luthen I feel like he just has to go somehow, and seeing how that's done. Him realizing that I feel like he thinks right now he must stay alive because he does have a little bit of clarity. He has more clarity than everyone else, and if he dies, then it's not going to be the
rebellion
same
falls
him.
apart, etc.
But yeah,
if he dies, it's in the last arc. There's no doubt about it. Because Rogue One kicks off with him going to meet a guy who knows the Death Star is being built.
Okay.
So I assume we are building to a point in the last arc where he is getting the information to go meet this guy.
Let's see. Could that be? I mean, Saw. Doesn't he go to like he finds out through Geonosis and like through there? Is it not?
Saw's history is a little bit more complicated with the Death Star.
Because I guess he doesn't really know it's the Death Star. It is just a circle drawn in the sand or whatever.
Yeah,
I think
he knows.
Is like the
he knows that they are building a weapon of mass destruction.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know exactly the extent of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that would be sick if I don't know if Luthen. There's just no way. Like he's too big of like a factor. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe when they formed the legitimate organization, they realized, like, no, we actually don't want you on the council. You know, it's kind of like an Anakin, you know, it's like, we grant you the rank of master, but, or not grant, you know, you can be on the council, but we do not grant you the rank of master. Is like, you're, I don't know, a little, not quite there. Or maybe he does, you know, come around, whatever. But I think the sacrifice play just makes the most sense for him at the very end.
I think so, too. Especially considering... If that council consists of Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, Saw Gerrera, Luthen,
yep,
3 of the 4 of them end up dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and I think that's kind of the way it has to play. I don't really see Luthen making it out of this, and I don't really want him to make it out of it. He's one of the only characters that I hope dies.
Yeah,
and it's not for a reason where I'm like, I don't like him. No, I love that character. The natural conclusion for that character is death for the cause. Yep. You know?
What's he willing to die for? What is it that makes him realize?
They've built a lot of parallels between him and Saw Gerrera as far as being the only ones with clarity of purpose and fighting their own fight and doing their thing. It makes sense for both of them to go down fighting their way.
Yeah. Man, yeah, Saw's end is so much. I don't know, like, goddamn, like I already love his character so much more, and that his ending is gonna hit so much more after the rewatch of this, and then just having all of these background thoughts of just, I don't know, it's crazy how much the movie is already changed, and we're only halfway through, and just whatever they're cooking, I don't know, whatever, maybe Gorman, I don't know, maybe it's like. Maybe this is why Cassian is so just kind of holy shit. Like, he knows exactly what went down here, and he's like, no, I have to end these people. You know, he's fully for the cause after this, and I'm trying to have a glimmer for Bix making it out as well. But yeah, it's
I would like to see it. You know, that's why I'm like, every other character, like, I hope Cyril and Deidre don't make it out. I think that's just a fitting end for fascists. If any chance, if fascists can die, good. Everyone else, I kind of want to make it out in some capacity, which is concerning because they certainly won't. I could see Vel making it out. I could. I could see her making it out of this series. I don't see her making it out of the rebellion. You know what I'm saying? Like, which kind of bodes well for Mon Mothma being the one who kind of gets an epilogue.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it'd be nice to hear just Vel dies at some battle, you know, in like some crucial battle somewhere. And
I could see them doing like Mon Mothma becomes the Chancellor of the New Republic. I could see her giving a speech in remembrance of those lost after they've won, and officially instating Battle of Yavin as the timepiece. So, like, before the Battle of Yavin and after the Battle of Yavin is an official turning point, canonically, not just... Ooh. I could see that, and her kind of being like, and it was on this day, this many years ago, that we lost these people because they gave their lives for a bigger cause, and, you know, stuff like that.
That'd be nice. That would be. I'm already seeing it, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
I could see something like that playing. As like, I'm trying to think of a natural epilogue, and that does feel like a good one, you know, because this show feels too good to just end abruptly with him leading right into Rogue One. especially given we know Mon Mothma becomes something more.
Yeah, I didn't even think of an epilogue really before now. But yeah, it's like it feels kind of right. Like it feels all right, we led you into the movie, but here's a little treat, here's
like
little,
what happens in the movie, so like here's what happens next, because I doubt they just end it with and then Cassian goes and does this and he dies.
Man, imagine, is it crazy to be like, does next arc end with the start of Rogue One and the last arc is an epilogue? Or like, is that, I don't want to,
I think that's a bridge too far. In my opinion, I don't think they'll spend a whole
maybe an episode
arc without Cassian.
Maybe the finale is just an epilogue.
I could see the finale being extra long for an epilogue,
Kind of, maybe there's like a natural breaking point where you can watch the movie and then come back for the epilogue and make it even a little sweeter.
That'd be sick.
But like that.
No, I mean, there's I'm not saying that I have to have it. I just think that this show kind of lends itself to one, kind of similar to Rebels. Rebels got an epilogue because we know what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what happens in the fight against the Empire. So here's what comes next a little bit. And when we know most of our characters die, and we know one makes it to the other side and actually becomes the Chancellor, I don't know, you just have a lot of opportunity there. So I'd be interested in them playing with that a little bit.
I think you might have hit it on the nose there. Or I don't know, that the nail on the head. That is the Mon epilogue. That would be I don't know. It would be a perfect bow, a perfect tie on the series there.
She can remember Bail Organa. She can remember, a man who remained anonymous in life, but in death has become immortalized, Luthen Rael.
Damn, the first time his name is spoken.
That could be really cool. He was a founding father of the rebellion, and someone like there's just a lot of opportunity to eulogize characters that never get it. And I think that would be cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm really not. I have a very high confidence that however they do end it, it'll be satisfying.
I do too.
And whether it is an epilogue like this or it does just lead right into the movie, I feel like hopefully there will. I don't know. Now that you say it, it's like they gotta touch a little bit after the movie. I don't know.
Well, and that's hyping up the show the whole time as leading directly into Rogue One, as that's the ending, makes me think that they do have a little extra something for the ending.
Yeah. They've been very open about, so open about how it's structured and
it makes sense, it would lead right into Rogue One because we know what Cassian does in Rogue One. It makes sense, but I could see them tacking on a little something extra. But I don't have many other thoughts on Andor. Are you ready to talk Tales of the Underworld, my friend?
Oh man, yeah, this is I don't know, a nice treat as well. This
won't be as extensive. But we'll still be thorough. We got a little arc on Asajj Ventress and a little arc on Cad Bane, both of which I really, really enjoyed. Probably my favorite Tales series so far.
I'd say so. Yeah, the both arcs were pretty damn strong. I think I favor the Asajj one over Cad's.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Cad's was more cool just to get his backstory and get all that. But I think I liked the themes that were being played with in Asajj's, like the little rebellions, I guess. Who knows how this little Jedi came to be or whatever, and just seeing how oh shit, damn, Asajj been one of the worst, but is actually kind of on the good side now, and then getting the old farmer to kind of realize the wrong in his ways, and the next.
There was beauty in it. That is 100% a backdoor pilot.
Ooh, yeah. Asajj,
I think that they are
100%. You're right. There was so much left to do with Quinlan and going finding the path and I'm Asajj Ventress. Like the end of that first episode, like really felt like, oh damn, like no, that she does need like her own show somehow.
I could see them doing it too, and I could see
yeah.
her being a part of the Shadow Lord stuff with Darth Maul because he's from Dathomir and so is she, and you know all that good stuff. I could see, I could see that coming back around.
2? I didn't even think like they're going Night Sister pretty heavily over there. I don't know. I wonder
true.
if she can come back there somehow.
She's got a history with Ahsoka.
Man, yeah. The path. Oh my god, yeah. Just any more on the path, I love. And just knowing that there could be this just, I don't know, nest of Jedi somewhere, you know, and it's just been secreted. Maybe it truly is Pabu. I don't know. I would love if it all connects to fucking Pabu. And
that'd be sick. I love Pabu.
Yeah,
I do love
the
Pabu.
Empire, I guess, knows about Pabu now. You know, they were there, but like, I don't know. It didn't seem that like they took too much importance on it. It was like that was just an island of peeps. It looked, I don't know. It looks like they didn't stay there, I hope. But no, I would love to know more on the path. I think it leads directly into Grogu's story. I feel like we'll get some Keller and Beck possibly of like, I don't know, telling the story of how Grogu I feel like maybe the most important asset to the path so far or whatever. Like this is why it was even started in the first place, was to protect Grogu, and then they realized like, oh shit, no, this is happening everywhere. We need to help everyone. And I wonder if it is like solely Jedi or if they just kind of help like other people in need. You know, if it's just the Jedi being Jedi still, like they can't help but take in other people who might just be force sensitive. Like maybe this is like, I don't know, like a smaller, just little, not as functional Jedi order, but more, I don't know, more real and more connected to the real life. So I don't know. I really, really want to see where the path leads, because they're building it up in like many of the series. So
is there a Jedi more mentioned that has ever been featured less than Quinlan Vos?
I know. Oh my god, I feel like I barely know anything about the guy.
I don't know a fucking thing about that guy, dude. I don't know a fucking thing about that guy. But like in Obi-Wan, they're like Quinlan Vos. You know, like him.
Yeah.
You know, he's briefly in the Phantom Menace as like somebody undercover. Like,
I mean, maybe that's why, is because he's just been gone this whole time. He's been like, that's his point. He has to remain anonymous. I don't know. And they're like, well, this guy's basically been a nobody, or maybe he's not a nobody. I don't want to downplay Quinlan because I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know anything about
I don't know a fucking thing about the guy. I really need to read Dark Disciple. That is something that as soon as I possibly can, I'll be getting on, because that's the book where Asajj Ventress, I mean, spoilers, you saw the beginning of this episode. That's the book where she dies.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like, yo, okay, being resurrected here. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Quinlan going, I don't know, they know of this Night Sister kind of wherever they are. Like, well, I don't know. That was just a cool opening. And it looked
I think that's
so
on
real.
Dathomir.
Okay. Yeah, that was sick. That opening of you know, you can choose to come with us and join us in this realm, or
cool.
You know,
Super
go
cool.
back to the land of the living. Man, yeah, it was and the animation style, holy shit. I mean, it's every time there's a new show, I'm like, how is it getting better? Like when Bad Batch came out, I'm like, oh, they've reached peak. Like they've reached the peak of this animation style. And then every time a new show comes out, it's like, man, it's getting
There's
so
a sleeker look to these than even the Bad Batch possessed, you know, like it almost feels like the lines aren't as sharp. You know, like everything was really, really geometric, I feel like, in the original Clone Wars, and then the way it slowly evolved to be a little bit sleeker and a little bit sleeker and a little bit sleeker, but there were still those sharp lines. Like I think of the clones like Jaws.
Yes.
Like that's like a hard fucking line. Their hairstyles
Obi-Wan's
are like hard
beard.
lines.
Yeah.
You know,
Obi-Wan's beard is like fucking diamond or like rectangle shapes.
Yeah,
it's like straight up.
And that's why I think I do think that they evolved it a little bit more here, even to be a little sleeker. And obviously we are dealing with a couple of really sleek characters, Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane. But I don't know. There was something really, really satisfying about both of them.
Yeah, like the guy that came out of the bar fight that just had those like all this just those energy beam swords like as hands, or like
yeah,
I don't know, that like that dude, or
that
like
almost felt like a completely different
Yeah.
animation style.
Yeah, and I don't know, Love, Death, Robots was like the closest thing to me, and it's like I feel like it's kind of like a Black Mirror-ish show where every episode is a little different. They're not the same, and there's a lot of different animation styles.
Yeah, it's
but
like Visions.
Yes, and but it reminded me of, I don't know, there was just a very droid heavy episode, and it reminded me of that look where it's like it's still animation, you can tell, but god damn, it looks like photoreal at the same time, and like it's this blend of like the both, and I don't know, it's crazy that we've reached this point, and like just technology. I feel like every time it's like, man, I think, you know, we're done. How can it get better? You know, it's like animation, like until it's just reality itself, you know, until it's hard beamed into my brain somehow. Like, how can it get better? But no, it's like they somehow improve the look every time, and I'm impressed by it. And yeah, this one was awesome. I mean, the looks, and just I feel like the stories I actually cared for more, even though it's like we had Ahsoka, and a Qui-Gon, and I don't know, like there's like way bigger characters, I feel like, before, but no, like this is way I don't know, written, I feel like a whole lot better, and just I'm much more,
because the only ones, like, I liked Tales of the Jedi, you know, I thought it was solid. I've been generally underwhelmed by the Tales series. I've always just kind of been like, yeah, that was a good time. You know, that's fine. I didn't like the one that I liked in Tales of the Empire, the one that's about
Barriss.
Oh,
is that there's Barriss?
Yeah,
and,
Barriss Offee. I liked the Barriss Offee one. I liked hers a lot. I didn't give a shit about the other one. The other one wasn't compelling in the slightest.
The
to
other
me.
one. What was the other one?
The other one was the chick who's in Ahsoka and the Mandalorian, and she worked for Thrawn.
Oh, yeah. Okay, true. Yeah, that one was kind of okay, you know. Yeah, like it's there. It was like fun to watch, but
yeah, interesting, cool. All right. I've never had an inkling to revisit it since. You know, I'll probably rewatch these, which is cool. I haven't really had that with the Tales series yet.
Yeah, true.
And I really, you know, you mentioned that Asajj's was probably your favorite. I loved the Cad Bane one, and that's big for me. I notoriously do not like Cad Bane.
No Toto. Damn it, as well.
No Toto did help me like it a little bit more. But I didn't expect to get Toto because I think he literally meets him in the Clone Wars, so I knew that we were that.
That's fair.
But the rags to, you know, so-called riches, I really, really enjoyed. Like the creation of a monster, the fact that he grew up in space Chicago.
That's good. Yeah, I mean,
I loved the design of the planet he's from. I loved the aesthetics. I loved the general. I just loved everything about it, and I didn't really expect to. I thought I thought I was going to be underwhelmed. I thought I was going to be like, because that's generally how I felt about Tales. Is I've just kind of been like, okay, cool, you know, all right, nice.
Yeah,
I actually came away from this like wanting more Cad Bane stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's high noon. This was classic cowboy and you know, the ranger coming in to take the outlaw out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the good shit, man. I loved it, and I loved the dramatic tension. I loved that they were best friends and they've gone down different paths, and they, you know, one went on the right side of the law, the one went on the left. You know, like all the, like, it's awesome, man, and I really, really.
Yeah,
I just really enjoyed it.
The town being like, no, dude, he's coming for you. Like, obviously, he's coming here for you. He's like, no, we don't want to raise any alarms until we know for sure. And it's like, dog. It's like, no, yeah, he's on his way.
Are you stupid?
Yeah. Whenever they're like, it's scheduled to come in by noon, I'm like, oh, wow, fuck yeah. I'm like, hell, I'm like, this is Earth time. I don't give a fuck, you know. Like, they've been on cycles or whatever before. It's like, no, this is high noon, and I need it to be like this. I don't know. It was so Western. It was just perfect. And
that shot of him walking underneath the bridge, so pimp. Yeah. It was the first time I've watched this and been able to appreciate how cool Cad Bane is. Because previously, I've been like, yeah, Cad Bane's cool, but fuck him.
Yeah. True. Yeah, he's just a bounty hunter. Yeah, he's just a fucking...
He's just some fucking guy. I don't like him. Fuck him. You know? And I still don't like the guy, but damn, do I appreciate that character a lot more. And this
Makes
is what
sense
I
why he's
wanted
so
the
fucked
Tales series to be utilized as, you know? Like when it came to Ahsoka and Dooku, you don't need to convince me more, man.
True. Yeah.
You know, I'm in.
Yeah, we
I
got
like
that.
those guys. We're there. I'm in. You know, Barasafi was a perfect character to explore. Frankly, the other chick was an ideal character to explore. I just don't think they did it in a very interesting way.
Yeah. Yeah, but
to the point where I don't even remember the character's name.
Like Bane, like this, he's not like a misunderstood kind of guy, and you feel bad for him now. It's like, well, you know, if he didn't, you know, if he just kind of listened to his best friend for a little bit instead of being so gung-ho, you know, he could have avoided a whole lot of mess. But like at least it gives him this something of like, well, it makes sense why he is a piece of shit for the rest of his life.
Right.
You know, he's like, well, it's kind of like he will be making up for it the rest of his life. It's like skin, you know, it can never go away from him. And just having it, like he realized it too. No words were spoken, you know. Once he realized what he did, moment. And he was like, just damn. Yeah, walk away.
And what makes him a piece of shit who you'll never like is the fact that he willingly puts the child in the same situation he was in.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh damn.
He orphans his own child.
Yep.
And leaves.
And the only role model he has to look up to is the same role model Cad looked up to. It's why he dresses the way he did. You know, I thought that was Cad at first, not Colt or
Laszlo. Great name.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, there's Cad, and then I'm like, wow, the voice is a little, that's weird. You know, he doesn't have quite the Western, I don't know, voice like he has. And I'm like, oh,
that's
okay, yeah. And then eventually I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm seeing Cad, you know, whatever, be born. And that was nice whenever he grew up a little bit, and then he got that draw to him, and I'm like, oh yeah, like hell yeah, there it is. And it's,
I never realized how much Cad Bane's voice sounds like Willem Dafoe's rat voice in Fantastic Mr. Fox.
It's the job. Yeah,
it's my job.
The snaps, man, goddamn, I love that movie. Oh my God, yeah, it's so good. Man, yeah,
That's good stuff.
He is. I mean, it is just this. I don't know. When I was driving back to Raleigh for whatever reason, I don't know if you know the song Big Iron. Oh man, who's it by? Mart. Oh, I'm pissed that I don't know, but it's just the big iron on his hip, like it's a classic.
Marty Robbins.
Like, thank you. Yes, I knew.
Yeah, I do know that song.
It just came on whenever I was, I don't know, on the way back, and I love that song for like just it gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it, because it's just like this is a classic story that will just never get old to me. I don't know why. It just feels so right. It's like the American version of the samurai story, you know, just walking into a town, settling
the old
whatever
Western,
beef
man.
is there. Yeah, and but Star Wars is the blend. It is the samurai story. It is the Western story. It is the space. You know, it's all the blend of everything I like. So it's this getting Cad. I don't know. I kind of expected to come in thinking Cad's would be the arc that I would like more, but I guess just Asajj just really, I don't know, it felt good. Like it was like it was more hopeful, I guess, and maybe that was why I'm gravitating more towards it. But
I am curious when, like, so she meets Omega after this?
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, well, let's see. How can we pinpoint when this is in time? We saw some troopers, I guess. What armor were they wearing? They weren't clones, I guess, right? I don't think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to pinpoint this any timeline wise at all.
I mean, like, it's definitely Reign of the Empire because the path exists.
True. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And then when would she have met? Like, when would she have run into Omega before?
A little over a year after the Empire started reigning, maybe 2 years. You know, like. Yeah,
it does. That would this feels probably right before. I don't know. Yeah, maybe does the search for the path lead her into? Oh my God, she goes to Pabu, right? Like does she go to Pabu just on her own, and then is that how she runs in? Like she just shows up on Pabu, but why does she say she's there? Is
she bounty hunting?
Yeah, is it just a job? Yeah, what is she looking? Maybe.
I can't
oh my
remember.
God.
I need to
Is
rewatch
the
The
path
Bad Batch,
actually
frankly.
fucking Babu? That would. I don't know. I mean, or at least a stepstone along the way. I don't know. Maybe it was at one point. Like this is where Grogu was taken, and then they realized no, we have to actually go somewhere. I don't know. It'd be cool if it was actually a part of her search for like Quinlan or something like that. But because the interesting part is that she whenever she's resurrected, the night, she asks, "What will it cost?" And it's like, I forget the exact.
That what you love most,
yeah,
or whatever.
So I feel like she'll never get to Quinlan again. She like it's her goal, but it's like if she goes back, she can't fully get back.
Yeah, she'll
to the
die
path.
again.
Yeah, so I wonder. I don't know how that does play out. If like that's her sacrifice is for the path. I don't know. Like it feels like she will do nothing to stop until she does find it, but it will be her end again. So it's like kind of another thing.
That's the thing is that she did find it. That's what the end of the episodes are.
Or I thought they had just the coordinates, and then they.
They went to the shuttle that was going to take them to the path, and she willfully decides she's not going to go to it.
So okay, yeah. The boy, man, what's the boy? The younger Jedi that's going there.
Little guy.
So, yeah,
little
I guess
guy.
so. Little guy going there. Okay, so okay, yeah. So I don't know. You don't think that you think this is like she never has the urge to look for it again? I don't know, because I feel like the boy even just mentioning Quinlan's name and being connected to the past, she's like, "What did you say?" She's like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck?" And then I don't know. I feel like this will never be a thing that leaves her head. And I guess maybe I don't know. I feel like am I just remembering the end of the episode 3 wrong? I don't, because they're on. Yeah, she leaves, or I don't know. They're talking on the transport. I guess. I don't know why I got the idea that like she was just continuing on the search herself, but yeah, they're headed straight to it. So why? I don't know what I have in my head. I mean, I literally just watched it, so it's like that's weird.
No, you're not entirely wrong though, because I do think there's a lingering sense that she wants to continue looking for Quinlan, but like. She had a path to the path, which is why I'm like, I don't know why she wouldn't have followed it if that's what she's looking for. I hadn't thought that much about it, to be honest.
I guess I want the path, like just the path. I want to see the path, and like I want to see where I feel like it's the perfect explanation of Grogu's just his early life or just the before he meets Mando, and him all jumping around, and then just it's a perfect opportunity to introduce any other character that they want. It's like they had to be hidden, and this is why you didn't hear about them. Here's another Jedi that we can play with, or something like that. Because I feel like it's not just Grogu. It's like there has to be, we don't know anything about Quinlan and who, he's still kicking it. I guess. So it's like I hope there's just other people that can come in. And they don't have to explain sort of like, oh, well, this is how they survived Order 66, blah, 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 and this, fit it into the timeline. It's like, no, they had to be remained and not, they had to stay hidden. So it's.
I apologize to the listener. I've dropped the call from Joseph. I'm going to call him back here. One moment. It's ringing.
Yeah, I'm here.
He's back. He's back. Don't worry, everybody.
But yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I think the whoever the CIA equipped, the ISB, they were too in on my idea. I figured it out. Pabu is just the
they
path.
were like, you gotta put down the phone, buddy.
Yeah. So this I'm going too deep on the path. But
yeah, I do think there's a fun future for the path potentially. I could see it being explored. Like, what's exciting about the Shadow Lord story with Maul coming in 2026 is that it is kind of a perfect opportunity to explore the underworld as it is during the Empire. And when it comes to who the lawmakers are and stuff and what's going on, the Underworld does include the Path. You know, like they're not a criminal organization, but they don't operate in the light of day. They operate in the shadows. Could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, apparently I was looking into the mall a little bit. Just we were talking of if they were going to stick with the animation style. I guess there's some leaked trailer. I haven't watched it yet, but I guess there might be some leaked something from it. And I don't know if that was just from Celebration, if they showed something.
It would have been
to the
yeah.
people. But I don't know. That's gonna be. I'm intrigued by that, especially after this. Like seeing how cool that these stories can be, and like getting that. I don't know that I have no idea what type of alien that was or whatever, but just that bar fight, like just scenes like that where it's like just down on the streets, just just getting this look into Star Wars. It was a cool realm to be in. And nice to have some saber fights, back thrown into the mix. I like Andor and it being so human, but man, it's nice just to get some nice
classic,
lightsaber battles.
Good old Star Wars goodness, yeah.
And that Inquisitor, I guess, I don't know. That was a new Inquisitor. I feel like I've never seen that dude before.
Didn't last long.
Yeah, true. He's donezo, but I mean, cool. It was menacing, and gave a good battle. So I liked, and Asajj getting her dual sabers back was not, just seeing her fight with two. It was kind of weird seeing her just with one. The curve tilt was nice to see. Still taking notes from the goat. It's just the best saber there is. I don't know. God damn it. I don't know why the curve tilt just does it for me. But then I don't know. Just her getting just dual wielding felt right. And I don't know, but the boy being the one to do it, she almost fell there. Actually, that was so. I mean, she's been out of the game. I don't know. She just got resurrected. I don't want to put much on her.
I don't want to put that on her. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
But no, I'm ready. I don't know. You're right. It did feel like a beginning for her character. Like if this is it, and this is all we get for Asajj for a while. I don't know, but yeah, it feels like they are trying to cook some more stuff with her, and I feel like maybe Ahsoka season 2. I guess I just don't. I don't know. Ahsoka was just a little not what I thought. So it's like I wish it's something else other than Ahsoka, but maybe they ring it back and it's better. They do it better than season 1. But yeah, I would love to see more of Asajj and getting more of her story, because it feels like they're cooking some stuff up with the Night Sisters, and she could be this cool like middle ground or middle in between. So
right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I think that this was the most exciting Tales I think yet. I'm excited for Visions later this year. I know we're getting that again. We've got a lot on the horizon, man. We got a lot of Star Wars we're going to be able to talk, and frankly, it is that time of year where I get very excited about Star Wars again. But it makes me want to recommit to Fulcrum a little bit here. I'm like, I'm feeling it. I'm in the mood. I want to do. I want to find something for us.
I know. Yeah. I mean,
who knows? Maybe with summer approaching, we might be able to find a little leeway there. But I won't make any promises because right now we've got 2 more weeks of Andor, and that's it. We should be able to return this Friday, if I'm not mistaken. For the next 3 episodes of Andor.
Oh, yeah.
Let me check when I work on Friday. Okay, I don't work till 11, so we've got plenty of time Friday morning.
Cool.
But, yeah, then we'll be back this Friday for Andor episodes 7 through 9, and then again the Friday after for episodes, the finale. The end of Andor as we know it. So I'm very, very excited. But with that, I think we can conclude this episode of Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. We've got a lot else going on. The Cinementalists is currently doing Mission Impossible. We've got a few movies left. I think only 2. I think we've only got Fallout this Friday, Dead Reckoning next Friday, and then we will be seeing the final Reckoning the week after. And I'm very, very excited for that. We'll be talking all those on the Cinementalists. That's Cinementalists, the Cinementalists. Go ahead and check that out. We're also doing Twin Peaks Fire Pod with me. Very, very excited for that. A Twin Peaks podcast friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. We shouldn't be long from revisiting that in terms of actually discussing Twin Peaks again. It's been far too long for us in the real world.
Yes, it has.
But we do have weekly episodes releasing. We had one that came out just this morning, season 2, episode 3. So you can check that out. If you've ever watched Twin Peaks, it's the show for you. If you haven't, go ahead and watch it and then listen along with us. You won't go wrong. But yeah, I think with that we can conclude this. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, for light and life.